My name is Kenley, and this tutorial is going to be on crickets. Now, first of all, I'd like to say that this is another stab flow. So, what you need to know is how to have a good hand glide freeze. And you just need to be able to hold this a pretty good amount of time. Has to be pretty stable. 10 to 15 seconds, I'd say, is the most that you would need to have. So now, this is how these are what crickets look like. Now, I'd like to state this one thing. There are several different ways of doing crickets. My way is that I don't use my legs at all. Like some people slightly use their legs a little bit. My way of doing crickets is that I don't use my legs at all. And the reason why I don't is because it's my preference. I think it looks a lot cleaner if I use just my hips and my hands to be able to pump me up. So then, if you want to use your legs, you can use your legs, but when people use their legs, it looks like a twitchy thing, like they're like doing a little bit of a twitch, like it doesn't look, to me, it doesn't look that good. But if you want to, you can do it. It's easier to do it that way. Anyway, now to the way I do my crickets. The first thing I would like to say to you is that you don't want to go straight into this move. It's kind of a bad idea to go straight into this move. What I would prefer you to do is practice the motion of pumping. So practice the motion of pumping like this. That's what I would suggest people to do the most. Because you're not going to be able to get that much of a pump and like go straight to the spinning as well. You're not going to be able to do that quickly. This move needs you to take things by steps. Otherwise, when you're rushing into it, it's going to be pretty bad. Like you'll land on your knee when you hop up and back down because you don't have the strength to like actually pump yourself back and pump up and then keep that stable freeze. So then, the way I would suggest you to do the pumping motion is just like keep your legs in the ground, like I usually say for like all my stab floats, and then like trying to like push with just your stabbed arm. Don't rely too much on your assisting arm. This is like one of those mistakes that a lot of people do that like enable them to get jackhammers, because if you rely too much on your assisting arm, you're not going to be able to pump with just one hand for jackhammers, because you're gonna be so reliant on like your assisting arm to pump that you won't be able to like pump at all with just one arm for a jackhammer. And so just keep this in mind. Don't rely too much on your assisting arm. Rely more on your stabbed arm. So this is just to like get the feel of like pumping with your right arm. So just like feel like push the ground when you stab. Push with just your stabbed arm. It's okay if you don't like pump that hard. That high. You just need to get the feel of like pumping with your with your stabbed arm. And after that, you're gonna try and like keep hopping in like a stationary position. So like go into like a hand glide freeze and just keep pumping. Try and like keep your legs tense. That's another thing I would like to mention. Keep your legs tense. Like don't keep them flopping around. Keep them tense, and the direction that I would prefer to have my legs is like the bottoms of my feet, like here. I usually prefer that the bottoms of my feet are pointed sort of upwards. So like keep it stabbed and like your legs up like this. Or you could like do something, at least try and like keep the bottoms of your feet facing up. Because it seems like it'll be a lot easier for you to like pump up. Because if you keep your legs kind of like in the side like this or this, it's kind of more difficult to pump up. So keep the bottoms of your feet facing upwards, and keep them tense. So now the thing is, you're probably gonna be wondering like what else do you use to pump up? And this is when I would say that you will use your hips as well. Using your hips is a crucial part in the cricket. Think of it something like this. You're not gonna have a lot of space to like pump up when your arm is like stabbed into your abdominals. So when you're using your hips, it's kind of like a way that you would use it so you can make space for your stabbed arm to like push itself up to keep yourself stabbed, and as well to like push make you do a little bit of a hop. So what I mean by that is that when your hips go up, your abdominals are going to go up as well. So like you push your hips up, you'll do something like this, but when you're pumping down with your stabbed arm, it's going to go up a little bit like this, so you can keep like a little stab. Now the higher that was a little bit exaggerated, you're probably not going to go that high. It's going to be more like a little bit of a hop like this, and then you're going to have it like this. So that's pretty much what, think of how you would use your hips as you would do it if you're going from a hand glide freeze to a handstand. But that's an exaggeration at best to say. But think of it as a similar motion to that. Think of like using your hips to bring yourself up as if you were trying to go into a handstand. But don't actually do it. It's just like food for thought. Think of that when you're trying to do it. And now, this is the part that most people like have trouble with, and that's playing the spin with the pump together. Cause now you should be able to have the pump in at least a few weeks. I would say you have the concept of pumping down, but now you're gonna have to like put the concept of the pumping with the spinning. And the way you will want to do it, the reason why crickets are a lot easier to continue and do is because you have your assisting arm, not for pumping, but for keeping your momentum to like keep spinning. And that's the way that I use my assisting arm. I don't use it for pumping. I slightly use it, but not enough that I can't do jackhammers. I only use it as a way for me to like rotate around in a circle. That's the main thing that you use your assisting arm in, cause you're really not gonna have any other way to like do a spin around other than like your assisting arm. Like your legs aren't gonna make you help. They aren't gonna help you like spin in they aren't gonna help you spin at all. It's all on your assisting arm. Like if you know how to do like a hand glide spin, like something like this, it's something like that. You need to be able to. It's pretty much what you're using like your assisting arm for, to help you spin. So practice like. I would say practice the hand glide spin if you want. You don't actually have to know the move, but have the feel of like pushing away so that you're getting the feel of like the spin. And then once you have that, try and like put together the spin with the hop. So I'm gonna break this down into like simple steps. So spin, hop, spin, hop, spin, hop. And another thing I would like to say as well when I was doing this is that when you're spinning, you're gonna be rotating around your wrist. So then the way that you want to like keep your wrist not over rotating, like I mentioned a lot in my floats tutorials, such as in my gorillas and turtle. The thing what you want to do is that there's a difference in this is that since you're hopping, you're gonna have time to like recock your arm, if that's a good way to say it. And what I mean by that is that right in the middle of like that hop, use that time, that short burst of time to like twist your arm back so you can like continue your spin. So like since I go clockwise, I twist my wrist clockwise, right? And then because of that, my wrist is gonna slowly twist this way when it's stabbed, but because I'm pumping, I'm gonna pump up and then recock it, so I go back to like sort of like the original way that my wrist was when I was stabbed. So I just spin, pump, recock, spin, pump, recock. That's the main thing that you will want to do during it. Don't forget. That's like one of those things that you think that people forget to do right in the middle of their jump. They forget to like do the recock when in the middle of their hop. And so pretty much just spin, pump, recock, land, spin, pump, recock, and land. And that's pretty much the basis of crickets. Some people, if you want to do like higher crickets, then some people spread out their legs out more, like this, and then you just do the crickets like that. And then there's some people that just want to do high crickets, which they have to be more explosive with the use of their hips to be able to do that. So if you're one of those people that just wants to like go faster, you're not gonna have much of a hop. If you're gonna be one of those people that wants to have like an explosive cricket that goes really high up, you're not gonna have that much. You're not gonna have that much speed. Well, you can, but it's really difficult to do. So it's mostly like if you want height, you're gonna have to decrease speed. But if you want speed, you're gonna have to decrease height. It's kind of like a relationship between them. You have to like balance it out. And with that, that's pretty much it with crickets. There isn't anything else that I forgot to mention. If there is, I'll say it. I'll mention it in the description of something else that I missed. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the crickets. It's all about like first control, and this is like a process of like how you need to learn crickets. First the pump, then the spin, and then put it all together, and then you pretty much get it. And just a quick breakdown. It's just spin, pump, recock, spin, pump, recock, land. And after this tutorial, this is gonna be my jackhammer tutorial. And if you have any questions about crickets, send me a message or a video response, and I'll see what I can do. And goodbye.